Hey everybody, it's Jamie. So the other day I was basically stalking Pinterest, like you do, and I noticed all of these pins for 3D block letters. Well, when I clicked on the link to learn how to make them, all they did was direct me back to stores like Etsy or shops like Target, and they were selling these things for like 20 bucks a letter. So in order to save you some cash and help you make some room decor that's 100% uniquely you, today I'm going to show you how to make your own 3D block letter decor. Let's do it, girl. Okay, so for this craft, you'll need a ruler and writing utensil, paper, a cutting tool, hot glue or strong super glue, decorating material from paint to duct tape to cardstock, and foam board or cardboard. Now, because I'm all about options, I wanted to show you two different ways to make your own block letter decor. The first is what I call the layered letter. Step 1. The first step is to create your letter design. And when I say letter, I mean any symbol from like a $sign to a number. So that being said, hand draw or print out a letter from the computer. Now before you get going, just know that if you choose a letter with straight lines like a W, that's going to be way easier to do than a letter with curved lines like a Q. Not to mention you may need to flatten out the bottom of that curved letter in order to have it stand up on its own. For my first letter, I went with an X that's 7 inches by 10 inches. Step 2. The next step is to transform your letter design into your letter template. Cut out your letter from your paper, then trace your letter onto your foam board or cardboard. Cut out your board, and your letter template is complete. Step 3. Now's the time to form what I call letter blocks. Use your template to once again trace out your letter shape onto your board, then cut it out. Repeat this step several times depending on how thick you want your final letter to be. I think that going with a width of 1 to 2 inches or 2.5 to 5 centimeters works best. As you work, make sure each letter block lines up as evenly as possible with one another, trimming away any uneven borders if need be. Step 4. Once you've created your letter blocks, all that's left to do is decorate them. You can do this as your final step too, but I first want to paint the sides of each of my blocks a different color. I chose a random assortment of blue and green paints to make an ombre effect. Step 5. The last step is to attach your letter blocks together. Apply a generous amount of glue to one letter block on your workstation. Keeping everything aligned, press in a second letter block. Once it's attached, repeat this step over and over until all your letters have been adhered to one another. To finish off the look, I traced my X onto cardstock and then used it to cover both the front and the back of my block letter decor. And there we go, a beautifully layered letter ready to place anywhere in your room. Now the second option I have for you is what I like to call the bookend letter. Step 1. Just like with your layered letter, the first step is to create your letter or shape's template. Print out a letter or shape that you like. Trace the shape onto foam board or cardboard and then cut out the shape completely. Repeat this step to make 2 identical pieces. These are the bookends of your bookend letter. Step 2. The next step is to add a center spacer, which will serve as the book to your bookends. Now here's where you have another 2 options. What can I say? I'm an option fan. I think options are top-notch. Option 1 is to glue literally anything to your bookends to space them apart. I went with some empty sewing spools, but you could do anything from the ends of plastic cups to ink cartridges to some empty breath mint containers too. Glue your chosen items down the center of one of your letters. Then apply glue on top of these spacers before pressing in your second letter to lock it in place. And the structure of your letter is complete. Option 2 is to create a cardboard spacer. I like making the width of my spacer the same as the width of my letter, which ended up being about 1.5 inches. Try to make those cardboard strips as long as you can because you're going to be using them to bend around the circumference of your shape. Once you've cut out a few strips, use your fingers to bend them in order to make the material more pliable. With your letter on your workstation, start a border of strong glue that's a few inches long. Then press the side of your cardboard strip into the glue to hold it in place. Continue this technique of applying a glue border and forming your cardboard strip to it until the strip has made its way around the entire shape. When finished, apply glue once more, but this time to the thin side end of your strip. Press your second letter onto this part of the strip to adhere them together. Again, your letter structure is now complete. Step 3. All that's left to do is to decorate. If you used a cardboard spacer, feel free to use any of your decorative materials to cover everything up. I started by tracing out and attaching a cardstock template to the front and back of my shape. I then cut out cardstock strips the same width as my cardboard strips, using hot glue down the shape sides before pressing the cardstock in place. And here's what it looks like when finished. If you used a miscellaneous object spacer, then your sides still need to be created. Unless you like that look, and then go ahead and leave it be. I used duct tape to connect one letter across the gap to the other letter. When finished, this not only created a border for my letter, but also decorated it at the same time. Then I placed strips of duct tape down the front and back of each letter in order to have everything match visually. And here's what this one looks like when finished. Whatever option you choose, you now have 3D block letter decor to place anywhere and everywhere you like. Make one huge letter that you can place above your bed, or make one inspirational word that you can just set on your workstation. Like I said before, you can do this technique to anything 3D, not just letters. So if sometimes doing homework makes you feel like this, well then make that. And then just place it on your desk, and that way you'll have at least one thing to smile about during those crazy moments. Instead of spending $20 on one letter that everyone else might even already own, you now have an adorable and affordable way to make your block letter better. What type of 3D letter decor did you make? Tweet me at Jamie Petito, Instagram me at HeyJamie, or just let me know on my fan page on Facebook. If you enjoyed making letter room decor, click the video on your left to make your own letter monogram, and click the video on your right to get super creative with letters by making your own spray paint wall art. Either way, don't forget to click that button right in the center to subscribe to our channel. We did it, girl. I'm Jamie, and you're on Gurl.com. Mwah.